Good evening and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I am Aaron and I'm going to be your game master this evening as we return to Cubicle 7's Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory. We are playing through the Litanies of Lost Adventures and we are in the Dark Bidding. So if you recall, 2 weeks ago, the team was called to meet with Helene Veronius and Inquisitor Rathbone to investigate rumors that the Archdominus Vakul of Balaxia is looking for a group of Archaeotech scavengers. Apparently, Vakul wants the mercenary group to discreetly recover a stasis coffin that has gone missing, and she would like it done without Imperium influence or the Inquisition's presence within the investigation. Inquisitor Rathborn was also investigating the smuggling ring, but from a different angle. In addition, he's also tracking a potential radical inquisitor named Argyle. Fake identities were loaded for the team into the Avacrus's data sphere, and they were sent planet-side to Avacrus to meet with Vakul. She was there in a underground, old, abandoned subway station, but brainjacked into a servitor. She told the team of the theft 3 days ago and of the possible suspects, including the Magi Masters of the Secutari, tech gangers, or agents from other forge foundries. Vakul then suggested that the team go to the scene of the crime, a tech crypt for fallen Mechanicum luminaries. The team arrived and they were greeted by a tech adept priest and showed to the vault, which was being guarded by a group of Skitarii Rangers. The Skitarii Rangers indicated that all was well within the vault and that there were no issues. However, the team clearly saw signs of a struggle and several body bags piled against the wall. They also saw clear signs of where the stasis coffin had been hooked into the power system of the crypt to keep it running. It was immediately obvious that the Skitari's memories had been tampered with along with the security feeds. Vakul was doing her best to keep the theft quiet. However, the leader of the Skitarii Rangers, Tango Mike, did admit that security had been tightened due to suspected gang activity in the area. After examining the bodies and matching employment records, the team was able to account for all of the transferred workers who were actually dead and in the body bags, except for one individual by the name of Biran Amiga, who coincidentally is the tech adept who is responsible for maintaining the stasis coffin. We were also able to identify the cause of death of the employees. They were assaulted by electro-leech staffs. This led the team to the Church of the Dwindling Existence, the place of worship for the motive force and the monastery for the electro-priests on Avacrus. You met with High Luminant Osifa, who readily admitted to orchestrating the theft after having been tipped off to the blasphemous waste of power at the Tech Crypt by the Secutari of the Legio Coruthos. This then led her to say that the Secutari put her in touch with a crew of tech gangers called the Hardwares, who she contracted to break into the vault and steal the stasis coffin. Asfa said that she did not know what was in the stasis coffin and didn't care what the Hardwares did with it after they stole it, as long as it was no longer leeching precious power from Avacrus. The team then traveled to the Titan fortress of Kauradar, where they met with Guard Captain Axiarch Thracia. After some discussions, she ultimately admitted to having a hand in the theft to prove the incompetence of Archdominus Vakul. Thracia, however, was furious with Osifa after the Hardwares disappeared with the stasis coffin, and she said she was willing to pay to have it brought to her. At that point, the team was allowed to use a cogitator to track down the wayward tech adept Biran Amiga's signals. The team discovered that Amiga had used his tech credentials to book passage on the strong space elevator headed to Delta Sig Novum. There were 2 reservations in the system. One left yesterday, which was 2 days after the theft, and one leaves tomorrow. As the team left the Titan Fortress, you were stopped by a shabbily dressed man in a protective overcoat with a crude augmetic in place of his right eye. He called to you by name and introduced himself as a Balaxian criminal investigator named Loxon. And that is where we ended last session. You may notice, though, that other than the 2 sisters and our electro priest, our assassin and our inquisitorial acolyte were missing. Well, that's because 2 days before the others met with Helene Veronius and Inquisitor Rathborn, they were contacted discreetly by Inquisitor Rathborn to investigate this smuggling ring from a different angle. He had found that on the Avacris moon of Odo, there were suspicious transportation logs that had been forged of a light transport, an Arvis lighter, who had been making frequent trips between the orbital docking platforms, the moon of Odo, and Avacris, without actually filing proper plans. He requested that V and Wigbert go to Odo, infiltrate this Arvis lighter, and download its actual logs in an attempt to find out if it's connected with this smuggling ring. The team deployed to Odo. They found the Arvis lighter docked in one of the smaller ports, hidden under a different transponder code. They made their way onto the Arvis lighter with little difficulty and actually did locate smuggling compartments within the shuttle. And as they were in the smuggling compartments, they heard someone entering the shuttle. They hid themselves away in an attempt to get more information as the shuttle lifted off and left Odo, heading into orbit around Avacris in preparation for landfall. You're in the compartment right now. Quiet, it's dark, and then you hear the warning sirens go off through these ceramite plates that are covering this compartment. Intruder detected. Intruder detected. Long, why don't you tell us about Wigbert and what you do when you hear the fact that you've been found out in this shuttle?
Our cover's blown, V. As we take out this heretics. Let's
So,
go.
all right. So you go to move the ceramite hatch that's over the smuggling container, and it does not shift. What do you want to do?
Um, we're in a container. We're not like against the hole, right? We're just in a box essentially inside.
Well, you're basically in a hidden compartment that was within the floor, like a hidden subsection beneath the plating of the floor of the back section of the Arvis lighter, forward of the engines, but sort of in the cargo bay area, but hidden in the floor.
There's no way we can like
Think
see.
Millennium Falcon.
There's no other way. Like if that doesn't budge, there's no other type of thing around us that we can maybe go laterally rather than vertically.
Give me a it's pitch black in here, so do you have any way to illuminate this space?
Ma'am, I have my Auspex.
Okay.
I also have my prize sense goggles, like my because I have augmetic eye.
Mhm.
So I
So
use
with those, you'll be able to you will not be negatively affected by the darkness. So give me a difficulty 4 investigation check. 2 successes. Okay. Remember you all have your wrath points back. So you both all have 2 wrath points. So you can, if you'd like, spend a wrath point to re-roll your failed dice.
yeah, I'll do that.
All right. All right, 4 successes. So you're feeling around. First, you don't see anything. But then as you give it a second scan around, you see one area towards the hatch inset into the wall you think is a false panel. And when you slide it away, you see an emergency release handle. So you think that it allows you to blow the cargo, the ceramite hatch up and out in the event that somebody gets stuck down here.
You ready for me to pop this thing?
Draw my blade.
All right, let's go. Let's yank this ripcord.
All right, so the ceramite lid pops off and the two of you burst out. Wigbert, Long, describe to us Wigbert. Tell us a little bit about him as he comes surging out of this smuggling hole.
Yeah, I'm a tall, lanky man, covered in all black leather. Got a nice Adeptus cape. Blood all over it, stained. Got a power blade ready to go.
Nice. And what do we see when we see V come out?
Augmented guy, augmented chest. I have a augmented leg, face kind of peeled back, hair kind of burnt off. It's kind of like a situation where stretching over the metal. We both look probably like the most average Imperium soldiers you probably see on a regular basis in 40K. So yeah, popping up, and I'm just like, ha! And that's kind of where we're at.
I like it. So as you pop out, I'm at a point of Rune to seize the initiative. And what you see spinning all out of the control, out of the cockpit, is a Skitarii Rust Stalker in this battle armor with a limb rig, and his head is spinning around. He's got like 10 eyes, like spiders, across his face. And you hear the whirring of a cord claw, and this transonic blade comes out. And then in binary chatter, he screeches at the Arvus lighter. And you hear the Arvus lighter respond, engines have been shut off. Planet fall, planet fall, planet fall. And at that point, we're going to cut back. We're going to find out what's going on with the rest of our team. So you're standing outside of the fortress, this polluted rain falling out of the sky, on a dreary corner, and you're standing in front of this detective, Locks, or this investigator, Locks. Ah, listen here, the weather is terrible, but I knew you were here, so I really needed to take a minute to talk to you. You see, is it that I wanted? There's issues. I mean, there are lots of issues on Avacris. You know that, brother. You know that. I mean, a full electro here amongst two female mercenaries with interesting haircuts. I'm intrigued by all of this, and I just think that I'd like to get some more information from you. I think maybe I could help you. So why don't you introduce yourselves to me first, just so I make sure that I've got all of this right for my records, brother.
So he refers to us by like name, right? So there's like all manner of okay. Did he refer to the sisters by the correct name or just me?
He did. No, he just referred to you by your correct name. He did not speak the sisters' names yet.
Okay. So I am Brother Bertalov. I am on an urgent task on behalf of High Luminosopha. Your assistance is not required. Please step aside.
That's very interesting. I hear what you're saying, and if I was not mandated by, say, higher authority than your High Luminan, I would happily get out of your way. I don't like the rain. I would love to go sit down and and have a glass of recaf and warm these old bones. But unfortunately, Brother Talif, I have things I. But you know what? Your accent. You're you're from one of the orbitals, right? Above Evacris. You're kind of a local boy, right?
I am, yes. This is
That's-
not my neck of the woods, so they say.
That's fascinating. And oh, pardon me. I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but it is raining on all of us. Let's sister. I mean, miss. And who are you?
Chrissy, this is Janet.
Chrissy and Janet. Those are unique names. I don't think that I've heard those before. Are you local?
Nope.
You sound like you're from the Gilead system. You perhaps from the Shrine world? There was it Janet or Chrissy?
Chrissy,
Okay, Chrissy.
Janet.
Janet. So should I call you Sister Chrissy or just Chrissy?
Did I say Sister Chrissy?
I've got to
I
get this
said
right for my
Chrissy.
notes. You understand? I mean, paperwork, right? You got to have your paperwork done right. So Chrissy and Janet and
Who is this higher power that you're referring to?
oh, now Janet, I gotta say, I mean, I believe that Chrissy here is she's from Gilead, but your accent, you're not from in the system, are you? Anyway, I don't think I recognize quite that low Gothic. Is you got a different twang to it.
Indeed, you've done your homework.
Well, thank you. I do like to make sure that I get my information correct, Sister Janet. I mean Janet. So the higher authority that I work for, let's just say it's much higher than a planetary high luminant from a particular chapel. Not to say that the high luminant Asifa is not a very powerful political and in all truth actually powerful individual, but yeah, you know how these things are. So I think we all understand who we are now. So perhaps we can help one another out, and then we can all get out of the rain. What do you say? So listen, I'm working a case, and I think you may know something about the case. It's about an attack and a theft on an Adeptus Mechanicus facility. Is that something you all might know something about? And we pause there for a moment as V and Wigbert launch out at this Skitari heretic rust stalker who has just set his shuttle into a death spiral into the planet. What would you like to do?
He's committed. But I can try and land us.
All right, well, let's deal with him first. After you.
Based on your speed and altitude, you think you probably have, let's say, 24 seconds before the Arvis lighter is not recoverable enough to land safely. In other words, you won't be able to bleed off enough speed to safely land the Arvis lighter. Why do I say 24 seconds? Well, 4 rounds. You have 4 rounds to get this shuttle under control.
What type of shuttle is this? What's the layout? What do we see?
An Arvis lighter is basically a flying brick. So you've got it's a large rectangle. You're in the center cargo area right now. The engines are to the rear. There's a small cockpit area in front of you that this Skitari rust stalker just lunged out of. But basically, it's just an open area. There is
no windows.
No, I mean there's small portholes, portholes, but I mean nothing. And I mean this is it's like glass steel. They're not easily fractured, but you can see out a little bit, and you can see out the front of the Arvis lighter.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Wigbert?
Yeah, I can rush the stalker here.
All right.
I'm gonna try to hit him against one of the seats. My power blade.
I like it. So describe what it looks like as you rush in at this heretic rust stalker.
Yeah, I bring my blade up in 2 hands, hit him in the midsection, pin him against the console, turn the engine back on.
I love it. Let's see what you do. His defense is 6.
Coming out. Rolled a
3
not good
successes.
3.
Okay, so once again, you've got wrath points. You can spend a point of wrath to re-roll all of your failed dice.
Sounds good. I'll go ahead and do that.
It'd be great for us to get right back into this, just to become a comet that hits a
It would
planet
be.
and have to re-roll again.
Still
So,
not enough.
So you bring your power blade up, and you have never encountered another being that's as fast as you are. But this rust stalker spins about and brings his transonic blade up and parries your power blade, and it slides off down the side of its blade. But it took its action to set the Arvis Lighter on a death spiral. So V, you go. You get to go.
What can I do here? I've been looking really at all my stuff. I guess I can. Don't want to keep on pulling out the old stops. Let's pull out my shotgun. Give it an old blast.
I like it.
You're stretching that 24 seconds. Like, look through my bag. Let me see what I got.
Oh.
So combat shotgun, DN's 4, right?
His defense. No, his defense against the shotgun is 5.
Okay. And we'll roll it. Not so great.
Okay. You've got 1 point of wrath left if you want to try to make that happen.
No.
You might want to
that's
save
not
it
a
because
good
that's
use of wrath.
it's going to be hard.
2 dice for 4 successes? I don't think so.
But remember, like the rust stalkers, just for next round, I mean, he's primarily mechanical, but he's got biological components, and probably at least part of his mind is biological still too.
Yeah. So I guess I'll fail at that, I guess.
Okay, so you bring your combat shotgun, and once again, you aim, and your aim is perfect, and you fire. But in that last second, his body just kind of like an accordion, just kind of folds in ways that no human body could ever fold, and you destroy the co-pilot's chair. And then he whips around with his transonic blade and is going to lash out at Wigbert, who he's locked into combat with.
Defense of 3.
Your defense is 3? All right.
Oh no, where am I going to sit? I shot the other seat.
Okay.
Holy.
We got a wrath complication, though, so that's good. But he did get 6 successes and 1 possible shift. So we're going to roll damage. He's going to shift the extra point to damage. And then we're going to talk about his... so what is your brilliance?
6.
So you take 4 points of damage, but you can roll to transfer some of that to shock if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll attempt determination.
Okay.
Oh god, my rolls are not good right now.
You got 1, so you take 3 wounds and 1 shock.
All right.
Okay. But the complication is you are as fast as he is. So this blade comes in and it slices, kind of catches between your 2 lowest ribs on the right side, but you're already pivoting around, and the hilt of your power blade catches against the hilt of his transonic blade as you're spinning, and you pull his blade out of his hand. It's still stuck in your side, but he is now without his transonic blade, only having his cord claw left. We're going to shift back to Loxon, and Three's company. So, what do you say? I'm looking into this Adeptus Mechanicus facility theft, and I'm pretty sure that maybe you're looking at the same thing.
Perhaps you should tell us everything you know, and then we can compare information to see if we are talking about the same thing.
That sounds like a good idea.
That's very interesting. I think, all right, here, let me put some cards on the table for you. It may not be all my cards, but let's put some cards down right on the table. How about a little tit for tat? I tell you something, you tell me something. I think that's fair. That's fair, right, sister? Chrissy? I'm sorry, I keep doing that. I don't know why. You look like a sister to me, but I'll call you Chrissy. So, Chrissy.
We are not sisters.
I can see that no, definitely. Janet and Chrissy can't be sisters because we've already established that Janet comes from our system and that you are from the Shrine World. So you're clearly not sisters. So, Chrissy.
What is your card?
Oh, yeah. So here's what I've heard. I've heard little birds around the city have been whispering in my ear, and they say that the Archdomina Vakul might have lost something that's very valuable to her, and that she might be looking for some help to recover it real quiet-like. Now, I'm just a humble detective. I'm just a humble servant of the Imperium, and so it's very hard for me to get, say, an audience with Archdomina Vakul, whether or not physically or through, I don't know, a brain-jacked, cyborg. But if, say, you could get me in front of Archdomina Vakul, maybe that could, he's scratching my back a little under the coat, because it's dry down there, and then I can maybe help you out a little. What do you think about that?
You think that she wants something kept quiet, so you should be shouting out in a rainstorm about the thing that she wants kept quiet, and that's going to get you in her good graces so she'll talk to you?
Well, see, here's the thing. She didn't hire me to keep it quiet. She hired you to keep it quiet. That's my working theory, you see. From what I can...
If you think she hired... if you think she hired us to keep it quiet, and you keep shouting about it in the rain outside, then we should kill you if she hired us to keep it quiet, because you're not keeping it quiet.
That's true. I'm definitely not keeping it quiet at the moment. But, we're in a rainstorm. And you look around, there are people, moving up and down the streets. I don't see anybody particularly paying attention to us. But if you felt that you needed to take some sort of action, I would understand. I would disagree with a particular action that you just put forward. But, as I said, Chrissy, you asked for my card. I gave you my card.
I also believe I asked for who you're reporting to.
I know, and I said I'm reporting to somebody that's a little bit higher than anybody you're reporting to right now, that I'm aware of, unless you're reporting to somebody higher too, which might be interesting to know. See, I am not at liberty to divulge, perhaps, who I might be working for. Some organizations within the Imperium like to keep things quiet.
That's true.
I know nothing of Archdomina Vakul. We are currently investigating a series of tech gang robberies, perhaps perpetrated by a member of the was it the Church of the... Was it Ken? The church? No, the church. Oh, no. The Church of the Dwelling Muses. That's not what it was. The one that Biren Amiga's from. What was it called again?
Yeah, the Tech Crypt.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And possibly a member of the Tech Crypt might have assisted at this. You are standing in our way of this. If you would like to assist us in apprehending this person of interest in the investigation, we will happily take that assistance. Otherwise, please leave.
That is very interesting. So you think that a group of tech gangers broke into the Tech Crypt and stole whatever it is that Archdomina Vakul is looking for, and one of the staff members from the tech crypt you think may have been the inside man. See, that's good information. That's cooperation, Brother Talov and Chrissy and Janet. I
Who's
appreciate
Arch-
that. Here,
I did not say anything about Archdomina Vakul. I simply said that we have been tasked with investigating a potential robbery from the tech crypt. You are the one who said this.
I understand.
Perhaps you are confused. Perhaps your biological synapses are not functioning correctly.
That's a very good point. I have not had my recaf this morning. I'm wet. I'm tired. I'm in this frumpy coat. It's highly likely that my biological synapses are not working properly. However, my technological synapses are working pretty good. And he tinkers on this mechanical wrist guard, and you see a holographic image pop up of a certain subway station, and you see the three of you standing there talking to this servitor. And at that point, we're going to switch back to our friends Wigbert, Hahn, and V. Wigbert's just been sliced in the side, but he has managed to disarm the Rust Stalker. Gentlemen, what would you like to do? Round 2 of 4.
Let me try and compel him.
I like it. Talk to us about compel. Remind
I do
us.
this every time. I'm just trying to do something different. I guess not. One trick pony. I'm playing a simple command in the mind. Nearby creature. The command must be short, consisting of a single action. Simple and obvious, but can otherwise overcome the given creature's own interests or base instincts. So the target creature's successful pass of DN4 willpower test or is compelled to obey.
Okay, so he will make a willpower test, and we will see. I'm gonna hear tell you, willpower is not this Rust Stalker's strong suit. So you may be okay. If he fails, what are you compelling him to do?
To land us.
Oh, I like it. All right, let's see what he's got. Four successes and a wrath critical. Man, oh man, a shivet. So you see this, the compulsion starts to take. And then you see him. He's got these almost like stilettos extend out of his fingers. And he jams them in the side of his head. And you hear this horrible grating noise, and he rips them out, and chunks of gray matter come out. And he goes, I am not so easily compelled. We will die together.
Well, your turn.
I really thought you had him there. We only had 3 dice. Who knew he was going to get 2 6s?
Wow.
He'll regret not finishing me off. I'll take his blade that's inside me and turn it against him.
Ooh, I like it. All right. It is a transonic blade, so it's just the same kind of characteristics of your power sword. Let's just see if you hit, and then I'll tell you if it's got any kind of different damaging characteristics.
Okay. Still DN6.
No, DN5 now because you disarmed him, so it no longer has the parry trait on his transonic blade. You have it.
Still +1 difficulty from being either shocked or wounded. I forget
Yes,
which one
wounded.
it is. My roll is good at 6.
6. All right. So you go in, you slice him. What's the damage on your power sword?
Damage comes out to 11.
Okay. What's the base damage for your power sword, though?
8.
Okay, it's the same. 11. That's pretty good. Minus his resilience of 9. So he takes the 2. You see, slices into him, and oil and blood comes gushing out of this side wound, but he's still on his feet. I will remind you guys, you can do things like multi-attacks and things like that where you attack more than once, but it does increase the difficulty number, which can make it a little more dicey, but you have wounded him. But you are at the end of round 2 as he turns back towards you, Wigbert, with his cord claw, and he is going to attempt to strike out with this clawed hand. Ooh, fails though. And I'm not going to spend any ruin to try to get him to pass. So after you've wounded him, he's moving slower, and you're able to pull out of the way of this cord claw as it comes right by you. That ends round 2 as we find ourselves back on the rainy corner of Evacris, outside of the fortress of the Legio of the Titans. What would you guys like to do?
So,
So he
are
just
you
he
going
just showed
to...
us like he showed us like a recording, right?
Oh,
That
yeah.
we saw.
Yeah. So, do you react to
Okay.
it?
Oh yeah,
in any way?
Birkwell. That is not me.
Oh, that, it probably isn't you. These things, you'd think on a Forge world my tech would be better. I mean, to me, it looks like you, Brother Talif, and it looks like Chrissy and Janet there. And the
Do you
audio,
think all
seems to
electro
indicate.
priests look the same?
No, I do not. I definitely do not. You're very distinct. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong, Brother Talif. And the fact that you are here with these two sisters, Chrissy and Janet, looking the way they do in the armor they're wearing, and these two women here look the way Chrissy and Janet do in the armor they're wearing, and then you're having a discussion with this servitor, who identifies herself as the Archdominus, and hires 3 people who look remarkably like you to look into this theft. That's what confused me. That's why I was thrown off, maybe a little. But clearly, if you say it's not you, clearly it's not you.
You say many words, but they do not seem to be the most efficient way of expressing your thought. You continue to say that you do not think this, yet you continue to use words that imply that you do in fact think this. We have a task to attend to, and your inefficient speaking is delaying our ability to complete that task. If there is an offer, or if there is assistance that you would like to provide us, do so now, or please step aside. This is the last time I will request this friendly like.
That's a very good point. I've kept you far too long. You clearly have things to do that aren't related to these 3 people's things they're trying to do. So listen, why don't I do this? I'm going to give you my personal Vox frequency. And in case you think of something, or you remember something, or you see something that might be related to this case, you can Vox me. And as far as, I'll tell you this right now. You probably will not see me again, because obviously you are not the same 3 people that I'm looking into. So, again, I apologize for keeping you in the rain. Here's my Vox frequency. Call me anytime if something jogs in your memory about, the Archdominus, the theft, any of that sort of thing. We would love to hear from you.
Number received.
Excellent. So, sister Chrissy and Janet and Chrissy and Brother Talif, the 3 of you, I hope you have a wonderful day. Get out of the rain. And, whatever you do, wherever you're headed, try to find some place dry. Yeah.
This is an Ashley question. What was his name again?
His name is Loxon.
Mm-hmm. He's a
Lockson.
Criminal investigator.
Yep.
At that point, Beric will walk away and he will say to no one in particular, like, that was an insufferable waste of our time. We have a space elevator to attend to.
We do. And just... Janet, you were asking something about Argyle?
And if we're still in earshot of this guy, she's just...
I'm assuming we've passed earshot.
And
yeah, you guys saw him slouch off into the crowd, shoulders hunched over, actually physically writing something in a notepad, scratching his head as he walks away.
Yeah, and she still wouldn't say anything until we get a little bit closer. But it is curious that he refused to tell us who he was answering to. I wonder if it is Argyle.
Perhaps it is unimportant to our task. We are being distracted. We have already lost one of the 2 possible departure times for our suspect. If we wait any longer, more of these investigators will probably talk to us for hours on end, and we will miss the second time.
It only felt like hours, but the other one isn't going to come until tomorrow. So we do have some time. Luckily, he did not talk to us for a whole day.
My internal chronometer suggests it has been 46 hours and 17 minutes since he started discussing these tasks.
It felt like that.
As Beric makes a joke.
Beric the Joker, I love it. So as you walk off in the rain, we go back to our Arvis lighter as it tumbles towards the planet. The beginning of round 3. Remember, you can seize the initiative by spending a point of glory if you'd like to try to get ahead of this guy and do something.
Yeah, I've got a nice advantage here, so I'll seize the initiative.
All right. Spend a point of glory, seize the initiative.
I'll continue with the blows. After his strike, I'll follow with my power blade into him.
Okay.
Did succeed, but I had a complication.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll your damage first, and then we'll roll the complication.
Damage comes out to another 11.
11 AP 2, though. That's good. So that takes it down, his resilience down to 7. He's starting to, so you're tearing into his torso now, and he's starting to look seriously damaged, but he is still on his feet. And it goes back to his turn. And he is going to, go ahead and roll your complication first. Let's see what that is, just in case.
Yeah, complication out of ammo.
Okay, that doesn't really apply here. So your complication is you drop his transonic blade as you pulled your power blade and struck with it. So it's on the ground at the moment. But rather than try to pick it up, he is going to swing out with his cord claw at you again. And hits. So, but no possible shifts. So what is your resilience?
6.
6. Okay, so you only take 1 point of damage. You can roll determination to try to soak it if you want, or you can just take the wound.
Yeah, I'll try to roll for it. So I'll soak it for 1 shock.
Okay, so you take an extra point of shock. You don't take any wounds. What's it look like? How is it that you push your body past the breaking point to avoid that wound?
Yeah, my body armor, my body glove sort of absorbs most of the blow. I'm able to just fling off the tendrils.
I like it. Bringing us to V.
I'm gonna take my plasma pistol and take a little shot at him.
Okay, so you pull your plasma pistol out and open fire in the Arvis lighter with a plasma pistol.
You're just
I
like
love
going
it.
through your bag of tricks. Like
Yeah,
something's gonna
no,
work. Like,
no. Is defense still 5 still?
Still 5.
Oh no. Oh no.
Ooh, that's bad. So
Wrath complication.
wrath complication.
oh.
Hold on, I gotta check plasma pistols. They sometimes have specific complications.
This
You're
is
not very
gun.
good
Well,
with guns, are you, Gavious?
Yeah, I'm like MacGruber.
He rolled, so his shotgun, he had 3 dice, and his pistol, he has 4 dice.
So the plasma chamber cooks off, and the gun basically melts, and you take 2 wounds as the plasma burns into your hand and arm. End of round 3.
Ow.
All right,
That hurt.
let's go ahead and let's go to round 4 because we're in the thick of things. So V, your hand's been horribly burned. Wigbert, you're in the fight of your life with this Skitari Rust Stalker. The Arvis Lighter warning system is screeching now that you've almost reached the no safe ceiling at this point. And then it will be almost impossible to land the Arvis Lighter without crashing it if somebody does not change the rules of the game this round. But you're up. Wigbert, V, I'll let you guys go. One of you go first.
Well, I've been doing so well. Maybe you should go next. Yeah.
Then I'll lift up my power blade over this man. I
All
pray
right.
your judgment be swift. Only
4
4.
successes.
I'm gonna have
You
to
can-
rate this.
Yep. I like it.
Come on. There's the 5.
All right. Woo, roll damage.
I was getting really excited to reroll.
10 damage.
10 AP2. Okay. So, let's see, that's 7 takes 3. He is horribly wounded now. Most of the electronic components are fritzing in his torso that you've sliced open. His biological components are spilling out of his body, and he's glitching wildly, but he's still on his feet.
Finish him, V.
As he whips his cord claw around at you, unless you want to spend
Yeah, I will. I'll spend the glory.
a point of glory and seize the initiative. All right.
I'm just looking
You can
deep
do
into my
it.
bags. Um,
Just throwing, like you try something, you throw it down. You try something, you throw it down.
I guess I'm gonna have to try to smite him. Nothing else is working properly.
Well, I mean, you just got a horrible roll on your compel, but
Yeah.
yes.
So I'll smite.
Talk to us about smite.
So smite, I concentrate destructive power thoughts are through the lens of my will, summoning lethal bolts of raw psychic energy that blast my enemies into ash. Target one enemy within range and make a psychic master will test against their defense.
Mhm.
If it's successful, the target suffers a 1d3 mortal wounds.
Perfect. So his defense is 5.
All right.
Nice. And
Are you
got a
still
6.
short though?
No, you only need a 5 success.
Oh, okay. Are you wounded or something? Because your DN is showing 6.
Oh, that's
Um,
right. Sorry. Yeah. You're still short.
I don't like here.
Mm,
I have 2
That's-
wounds.
Yeah. Well, as long
That's
whenever
why
you
you're
get
DN6.
one wound, yeah, your D the.
All right, then I'll spend a wrath to.
All right, spend your last wrath. Let's
Please God.
you can do it.
10 successes and a
Ooh.
wrath critical. All right.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about rolling the wrath critical on this. Your glory did go up. You have 2 possible shifts. What would you like to do with the shifts? I'm gonna tell you should probably just shift him to glory because you definitely
Yeah.
did more than enough damage to kill him.
Yeah, it's only damage and glory, right? See, I'll do glory.
No, I mean there are other things you can do, but those are the primary ones in combat.
Can I blast him back into the seat to land the plane? Is that?
No,
one
you're
of the
going to
things?
just totally
All
disintegrate.
right. All right. I just don't know if that was one of the options. You always it never hurts to ask. What you
It's
can say is no.
a good idea. You
Yeah,
only
yeah.
had 1 wound left, and you did 3 mortal wounds. With the wrath critical, it would be even more. So,
Guys, I should lead off with smite more often. I don't know what I'm doing here.
so what happens is his whole body goes rigid, and then his head just catches on fire, and you hear this crackling, and then what's left, what biological fluids are left, starts seeping out of his skull, and he just crumples to the ground. That's the end of round 4. What are you guys gonna do?
All yours, bud.
Do something useful and download the logs.
Okay.
All right.
Someone's got to jump in the navigator's chair, I think.
no, download the logs instead.
Yeah. That's really important.
So the Arvus lighter is screaming now, and you guys, the temperature is rising because but the plating, because of the descent and the angle of your descent and the speed of your descent, is starting to burn off. You're cooking off the outer layer of the amicrys of this Arvus lighter. So what are you going to do?
Get control of this thing.
The Emperor will land us safely.
Jesus.
I've offered him.
Do I need to take control of this?
No, I'll take control, but like my kind of control is like blind faith, just believing the
Okay.
Emperor will land us to safety.
All right.
So you're at least moving toward the controls while you're
Yes.
saying that the
You're not
Emperor
saying
lands.
this. You're not saying this like this, right?
That's what I had in my head, that he's just sort of standing around like,
I just thought that you just sat down and were like, nah, we're good.
I think you should do it. I think you should just stand there and pray. Do it.
Can we pray with the controls in our hands? Man, that might help us.
You can, and we'll see
with
what
our
happens.
Praying.
What I personally would like is to see somebody do a pilot check.
Yeah, I'll give it a roll.
Okay, it is a difficulty 5 piloting check.
Okay, I have a 7 pilot. That's doable.
Oh, that's fine. Pretty good pilot.
With no wraith, so we got a couple glory. Let's see what happens. Boom. 8.
There's
Hey,
the
with
the
good
critical.
rolls.
And a wrath
I
critical.
told you the
Okay.
Emperor will protect us.
So, you take control of it. It's fighting you every step of the way, but you're a masterful pilot. You know your body incredibly well, and you feel the glory of the Emperor flooding through your body, and you fight with these controls, and you manage to level it out and slow it down enough that you're able to bring it into a controlled landing at the spaceport in Balaxia. I mean, the shuttle is fried. You managed to land it, but I mean, it catches on fire as it touches down, and you see firefighters and Skitari swarming towards the shuttle. V, go ahead and give me a tech roll, difficulty 3, and see what you can get out of the logs. All right, 3 successes. They've almost been completely wiped by his command, but you are able to get a small string of information out of it. Primarily that he was a primary point of contact for a group of tech gangers called the Hardwares, and he was to meet them at the space elevator and escort them up to the orbital. And he was supposed to do that tomorrow. Obviously, that is not going to happen. As you see the fire, the fire brigade and the Skitari security forces moving in, what do you guys do? You know that if you stick around, you may be caught up in red tape for quite a while.
To find us an opening, try to slink us away.
Give me a stealth check.
Ooh, only a 3.
Okay, well, let's roll it against
Got
their
glory
awareness.
if you want.
Yeah, you can spend a point of glory because you don't have any more wrath points. So to add dice. So
Yeah, we're
He
at
would need
6.
he would need to spend wrath though, because the glory is specifically
I?
on the wrath reroll. Yeah. So glory,
Oh.
you
Yeah,
spend
alright.
glory when you spend a wrath point to reroll.
Yeah.
Could I
That's true.
terrify everybody to distract them so we can get away?
You can try, or you can just see if this 3 stealth check is good enough.
What's
Okay,
your
yeah.
objective?
I thought we were just
Because you
failed.
could get a wrath back.
All right, I was attempting to do that. My objective was using blind faith, so to achieve
Oh.
my goals.
All right, so you got your wrath point
You
back.
got a wrath
did
point.
use
There we
blind
go.
faith.
Good
Thank you,
call,
Ashley.
Ashley.
Except you got in the pilot seat.
Jeff.
You should have stayed.
I wasn't doing anything pilot. I was just sitting there.
I'm gonna give him the blind faith, just because.
Jeff, I need you to stop.
He did like a deathbed like redemption thing, like where he's like, just kidding.
Do you want to let your stealth roll stick, or do you want to use a wrath point?
The new-
your new wrath point to
Yeah, my
reroll?
new wrath point. I'm going to send
Alright.
it. 7 this time.
Okay, let's see if anybody spots you, got the two of you as you make your way out. Nope. But it is good that you re-rolled, or they would have spot you. So you see the fire brigade swarming over the arbor slider. You see the security forces coming in, but you're able to use the shadows and the hard pounding rain to slide off of the tarmac and into the city of Balaxia. What would you like to do at this point?
Let's lay low for a while. There's a meeting at the space elevator.
Yeah, is there been a setup previous to this for us to rendezvous with one another?
No. You don't even know you don't even technically know they're on planet because you were on a separate mission from them. But you do have all of their Vox information, so you could try to communicate with them. Or you could also try to communicate with Helene Veronius to get information from her, or Inquisitor Wrathborn. I mean, he was the one who sent you on the mission. So you could get in touch with him. But what you do know is that this Skitarii Ruststalker a heretic, was supposed to be the point of contact for a tech gang named the Hardwares, and that he was to meet them at the Stronos space elevator. And based on the date time, that is going to be tomorrow, to escort them up to the Delta Sig Novum orbital station, though it does not say why.
Let's see if we can contact our contact and get some backup before we start heading to this elevator. I love your stick-to-itiveness of murder. However, I'm hurting, and so are you. So maybe we try and get a little bit backup going. So I'm gonna make a Vox call. Sorry, did you want to say something there, Wigbear? I apologize.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Make a Vox call to who was the second guy you had? I forgot his name.
Inquisitor Wrathborn.
Yeah, Inquisitor Wrathborn. It's obviously a good contact for me.
Who sent you on the mission?
Yeah.
V. Tell me things are going well. What'd you find out in the Arvis lighter?
Well, describe well. You mean like our interactions with others, or if we found out information? I found out information for you. My hand's also a little burnt. Don't worry about that. Long story.
So, V, you're telling me your hand is burned. Cry me a river. I need information.
Yeah,
What'd
stuff
you
happens.
find out?
The guy that we excuse me. The guy we encountered on the shipping container thing that we
What guys?
The Skitarii that we encountered on the flight down was not a fan, but we were able to access the logs and find out that he was part of a tech gang, and they're meeting up with on a elevator here within the next day to try and work on a shipment. So contacting you to see if maybe there's some type of points of contact on planet that we can probably get with to kind of support us.
The rest of your team are on Avarkus. They're in Balaxia. They're looking at the same mission, but from a different angle, and they got very similar information. I think they're actually on their way to the Stronos space elevator right now to do some reconnaissance. So you should be able to meet up with Brother Talavan, Sister Nora, and Sister Celeste there. In fact, if you Vox them right now, you could probably coordinate and meet up before you get to the space elevator.
Sounds great. I think that's probably what we're going to do. Get us a little bit of a meet up and hit this thing together. Appreciate it, boss.
Get the job done.
You got it.
Clicks off.
Love you. Bye.
Static.
What?
Didn't say it again. All right. So, Vox call. Who do you think's the most warm reception? I'm gonna
Celeste, I would think.
Bellow. I'm gonna Vox call Bellow. Okay. All right. Give him a little ring, 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 ring.
So my name is Birk Taloff, not Baloff, but hey.
Balov. Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing.
So I'm assuming we're gonna see Celeste and Nora and Talov like walking or whatever, and Talov's gonna see that he's getting a call essentially from Gavious, and he's gonna let it. He's gonna screen it. I'm like, no, I've already dealt with one useless person. I need to stay focused. I cannot
was it?
deal.
Who is?
It was V. Oh God! If there's anybody that we should not bring into this investigation right now, it is V. We need to stay focused. If Wigbert perhaps would have called, I would have seen a use for him at least.
With the amount of eyes and recordings apparently that are behind us, if they would like to join in, we could have them talk to Mr. Stand and Rain for an hour.
I talked to Wigbert. I'm like, it was like enough rings where I feel like it wasn't voicemail, but it definitely went to voicemail. But it was like too short.
Your Vox, your phone rings or whatever. Your Vox rings.
Why don't you give him a call? Maybe he'll see. Maybe just see the thing, and maybe see if it picks up. Why don't you give him a call, Wigbert?
They must be busy on the mission.
Yeah, well, just see if it works for you. I don't know. Just try.
I don't have time to waste on calls.
See, that's why we get along.
What I was hoping for was him to call you. You pick up immediately. Like, yes, Wigbert, what do you need?
That's what
I'm waiting for someone to call me.
Okay, so we've got the two separate groups then. Where
someone answers their Vox,
Okay.
and we share information. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
We do.
All right.
So you all realize you're in Biloxi together. You're all five of you are making your way towards the Stronos space elevator complex. Do you want to meet up at the space elevator or somewhere else?
So Sister Nura would want to communicate that there's this like really annoying, creepy person that seems to be following us. So like kind of have part of us following to see if anyone is following us. So kind of you know what I mean?
Yeah, you move in first and we'll move behind.
Yeah, we'll separate meet up at the elevator.
I like it. Okay.
We do need to stop somewhere too because we're both wounded, so we probably need to have some type of rest to heal up and stuff like that too.
Well, you do know that you've got the reservation for the next group to go up isn't till tomorrow, so you've got some time. But if you're going to go ahead and make your way towards the space elevator to do your reconnaissance, we see brother Talov and Sister Nura and Sister Celeste in the front, and you guys have managed to merge, so you're walking along the same street towards the space elevator. You see there's a lot of other public transportation, elevated trains, and ground vehicles and air vehicles are all moving towards the space elevator. You're moving into a more industrial area. As you get closer, even the clouds and the rain can't disguise this miracle to Imperium technology. You see these two giant rails disappearing up into the sky. And currently, at the bottom of one of the rails is this giant rail car about the size of a city block that you know would be loaded with equipment and mechanicum priests and personnel, and would be shuttled up to the orbital ring and then transferred to one of the orbitals as needed. The other rail car must be up either at the orbital or on its way down. You know, it takes several hours to make the transit, so to catch one on the ground is not all that common. Do you see surrounding the rails as you get closer? It's laid out like a port district. You see gigantic warehouses all around the rails. You see these huge armored containers that are sized to precise departmento munitorium specifications to house a lot of armored plates. You know that Delta Sig Novum is used to basically manufacture and bolt on, for want of a better word, great armored plates to void ships. So it's involved in void ship construction. You also see huge galvanic servo haulers swarming all over the cargo shipments, transporting cargo to and from different warehouses and towards the transportation container at the rail. Off to one side, you could see an entire row of very nice housing units, temporary housing units, which you assume probably cater to the needs of the wealthy, off-worlders, and their retinues. It's like a giant anthill. There's activity everywhere. Everyone involved in it seems to know what they're doing, and no one seems to be paying anyone any particular attention. At the center of all of this, though, is basically the terminal, where you would go to book passage, to receive passengers, to organize freight, and you see all of this laid in front of you. Wigbert, you and V are about a block and a half behind Talib and Sister Nora and Sister Celeste. You were able to lock in on their Vox transponder, and you can tell the relative distance. Give me awareness tests to see if you see anything unusual or anyone unusual moving through the crowds. Difficulty 5. If you get more than 5, I'll give you more information.
4 in awareness might be a bit difficult. Yeah, it's no good.
Okay. So, I mean, it's heavily raining. There are huge crowds on the street. You know, they've got these chem umbrellas up to fold off the acid rain. So it's very difficult to see unusual movement patterns through the crowd. You're just not you just don't know this area well enough to know if something is off here. So you don't see anyone who are following the other 3. And after a few minutes, you catch up to them at the outskirts of the port. What would the 5 of you like to do? You do see you see Wigbert bleeding, and V has horrible plasma burns on his hand. Steam is still coming off his hand as the rain strikes it from the deep plasma burns that are literally scorched the bone in his wrist that you can see.
Birk will approach V and will look at the hand, and he will say, "Now you can finally understand. Once more, the flesh is weak. Find a replacement augmentation, and once more improve yourself and your worth to the Emperor. If you like, I will find us a blade. We will cut it off right now. I will do this for you."
Do you have a replacement right now?
No, but I am sure we could.
Then
find
no,
something.
no, I don't want that. No.
This is.
I'd much
very
rather like
busy
a bandage.
area. I'm sure there is a.
Do you have
something we could-
do you have a bandage? Maybe a
I'm
salve?
sure she does. And
Okay, yeah.
Nora
Let's go with that.
Say
Right
to the
Sister
guy
Celeste.
who's shirtless and wearing just a robe from his waist down. Like, do you have a bandage? He doesn't have pockets. What are you talking about?
Oh, wait, by the way,
Celeste-
V, you do definitely have to make sure you took that plasma pistol off your character sheet because it's just a lump of metal. So you will have to try to requisition a new one at some point if you would like another plasma pistol.
While they're having this whole where he approaches Birek for healing, Celeste is actually
Right?
like up against a wall with like her arms crossed, and she's just kind of observing, and she's looking out for that Loxon guy to see if he's in the vicinity.
Give me an awareness test. Difficulty 5.
Cool. And then I have my eye, which gives me an extra die.
Nice, nice. And you still have all your wrath points.
You see, V. She's got a mechanical eye. And she's
11.
getting bonus dice.
So you're scanning. You're scanning through the crowd, and at first you don't see anything, and then you see this one Kimbrella pop up, and you see him, and he does this. But with your 11 successes, as you're scanning, you think you'll identify at least 15 other people who are with him spread throughout the crowd. They're wearing heavy, heavy overcoats, but you suspect with that high awareness check that under those, they probably have some sort of tactical body armor.
Okay. She's gonna be cheeky and wink back at him. And then kind of like come back to the group.
As you're walking back, your Voxcaster crackles.
She'll answer.
So, I gotta say, Janet, right? And I am talking to Janet, right? It's so hard to tell through all the rain.
Yeah.
You're quite marvelous. I mean, the rest of your crew had no idea we were about, but you got quite a set of eyes on you there. I really hope your investigation that's not really an investigation into things that I'm not investigating goes very well for you here at the spaceport. Remember, you've got my number. And then the Voxcast goes dead.
And she'll call him back.
Mm-hmm. Janet, it's been so long. I'm so happy to hear from you.
I miss
you know
your
what
voice.
else you're so kind, sister. I mean, Janet.
Easy
what
mix-up.
I heard, coincidentally, I heard recently that an Arvis lighter had to make a crash emergency landing at the spaceport, and 2 individuals, somewhat injured, ran after I checked the security feeds, ran from the spaceport. And amazingly enough, I'm sure they're not the same 2 people, although they look very much like them. They're with you now. But I digress. You called me. What can I do for you, Janet?
So I know that he's researching into the Domina, but he didn't say anything about the hardware people at all, did he?
No. You guys brought up the tech gangers. He didn't really say anything. He said he inferred some things, but he didn't make direct connections.
Curious question.
Of course.
The hardware gang. What do you have on them?
Hardwares. Hold on for a second. You know, Janet, they're very low-tier tech gang. Not big players at all. I mean, they're basically body chop augment thieves for the most part. Not even really on the radar. Are you telling me that the hardwares may be involved in this? Because that is surprising to me.
Think bottom of the barrel, but they're possibly being used by someone else, which is to be decided at this time.
Well, Sister Janet, I gotta tell you, it's very nice working with a profession. Remember, you've got my number if something comes up. And let me extend this to you. If something comes up for me that I think you should know about, I will definitely give you a call, Janet.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's raining harder now, so me and my boys, we're gonna take off now that we, I've seen the Strono space elevator dozens of times. So you all have a lock there in the port, and we'll talk later. And
Definitely.
You see him kind of fade away, and you see his team fade back, and they almost disappear immediately from view.
Yeah. And then that's the point where she steps back into the circle where they're quarreling. Loxam has a much larger team with him than we had originally anticipated.
Loxam, who's he looking for?
He did seem quite forward to be just on his own. So he's got a couple, 1 or 2 more with him?
11.
They are following us specifically, or they are here at the space elevator for a alternative reason?
They were watching us. Yeah.
Okay. Does this change our plans?
Is he interfering with us?
Well, see, we don't know exactly who he is reporting to. And
He's
we know
recording our efforts here.
we know he's Adeptus Ministorum, right?
He did imply that he might be might be part of the Arbites of Adeptus Ministorum, or at least that's kind of what he implied when he introduced himself.
So what is that in like the food chain?
So the Arbites, they're like like on a planet, you like have a planetary police force, a planetary defense force. The Arbites are like the next echelon up. They would be like a galactic police force, and
Space cops.
Super space cops. Like they get sent out to specific planets to watch over. Like you might get like 5 or 6 agents on a planet to watch over that planet's entire planetary police department.
So the fact that there's like,
well, he may be an Arbites, and these guys, this team might be planetary defense force. They might be.
Okay.
So they wouldn't necessarily all be Arbites, and he may not even be Arbites, but he could be. Based on what he implied, he sort of implied that he would be a member of the Adeptus Arbites.
Could possibly I pull rank and ask him of his designate, and with my like status as a Inquisitor.
You flash the big eye at him and say, you definitely could. If you get him face to face, for sure.
Well, face to half face. But I get what you're saying. But do we think that's a good idea? He's not with us right now. That was on Vox, right?
No.
That he wasn't the guy.
He's gone. He's gone.
So moving forward, do you think that might be a good path for us, gang?
This investigation was supposed to be kept down low.
Yeah. See, the issue is we don't know if he's involved with Argyle.
Yeah.
Well, and even our next steps here, are we looking to see, I'm assuming, given that this takes off tomorrow, that we're looking to see if we can find where this is being stored in advance of the takeoff of the elevator tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we just got to make sure that we keep it in the back of our mind that this guy might be not on the up and up, and make sure that we're keeping things a little bit close to the chest, I guess, right? Or I take the option later on to try and pull it out of him. But
always in our back pocket if we need it.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's when I can't really heal you here. So if we stay here and if we're investigating here, I'll have to heal you later.
Yeah. So we're scouting out right now and figuring out what's going on. When we have a break in time, I forget how the system works. Is there going to be like a rest period where I can heal from that, or do I have to be physically like healed by somebody? I forget how it works.
I mean, you'll have this evening as long as you find some place to bivouac. You'll have tonight.
Okay.
And let's quick reminder on healing.
Because the only system I'm aware of is Baldur's Gate 3, where you hit the short rest or long rest button.
Yeah, it's slightly different than that.
Okay. Yeah, I assume so.
But yeah, you go ahead. You guys tell me what you want to do, and I will look up how much healing you can get out of this.
I mean, I think Nura's idea of trying to investigate the area, see if like anything's being stored, see if there's any storage facilities, see if they've taken any like short-term customers, that kind of thing probably makes sense. There was also, remember there was 2 appointments, like there was 2 bookings. We could also see if we can dig into if the first one just went unclaimed, or did somebody actually claim it, and so to see if there's some kind of accomplice or whatever working. Yeah, so I think that's something else we could potentially do.
Yeah.
Could I check that with my auspex and maybe check the records and see if those have been taken?
Yes, you could definitely try. So you want to try to use your Auspex or so you want to try to hack into the terminal's computer system to determine what happened with the 2 reservations?
Yeah, maybe not me. Maybe the guy who's mostly robot. But yeah, I thought just the aspects would give me a buff, but probably not. So
I was planning on doing it, but I was assuming it was going to be like a local thing, like we had to make it on a local network or something for it.
Yep, you're going to have to. Yeah, the Auspex is going to do that for you. Real quick on healing, you can regroup, which is a short rest for an hour, and then an individual with a Medicaid rating can heal you wounds equal to their Medicaid dice pool. You can also take a 6-hour rest, which you guys will do tonight. And at that point, you will recover your shocks and wounds completely, and you'll recover your wrath points.
okay. So we'll just do some investigating and we'll do that 6-hour rest later then, right? So that's probably the best.
Yeah, I mean, because you at least know the reservation, their next reservation is not until tomorrow afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
The first reservation left yesterday.
All right, so Beer can do some hacking then, I guess.
So you're at the port. There's, like I said, there's all these cargo containers going around. There is the terminal building. There is the housing for the wealthy passengers who are waiting on their booking. What would you like to do? And I do want to point out that you also have no way to get on the space elevator yourselves at the moment because you don't have a reservation. Yeah. So if that comes to that, you don't have a way to get there.
Right. So I know. So Beer's priority would be if he's curious to know about the previous, yesterday's appointment. Yep. So he would be looking for any potential way to sort of access the local records of this spaceport. So he's looking for any kind of like the equivalent of like a server room or anything like that,
So know the term. I mean, you've used the space elevator several times before.
Yeah,
so you know the terminal.
Before, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you know the basic layout. You've got a pretty good idea of where you could access the data trunk, where it would not be in the security room.
Okay.
Off a maintenance hallway. But what I'm going to need is either a stealth check to get there unseen or a cunning check to make the right handshake with a maintenance guy that'll let you back there, that kind of scenario. So you go either way.
Could I, instead of doing cunning, could I do intimidation to try to threaten my way back there? Because I have 1 in cunning.
You can do intimidation. The only concern you have about intimidation is usually within a few hours of intimidating somebody, they will turn on you.
Okay.
Is anybody high in cunning? Can this be like a...
Yeah, anybody could try to.
And somebody with cunning can do the talking and get through.
Absolutely.
Somebody have more than 1 in
Garrick
cunning.
Looks to the group to see if there's anybody who is capable.
If I could use deception instead.
Cunning. And then we'll default to Wigbert because he thinks Wigbert's actually useful. Wigbert, I need your assistance. There are all these bureaucratic firewalls that I have to bypass to get to the important data. But this is beyond my skill to do so.
I'll get you through then, brother.
Thank you.
Oh, maybe Wigbert could help stealth you, maybe, right?
Whatever Wigbert wants to do. Well. I don't know if he can stealth me necessarily, but like he could help me, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, because I have 3 in cunning. But
yeah, I mean, you could tell me what you want to try to do, and I will tell you what you need to do to make that successful, and then I'll set the difficulty for it. Cunning would have the lowest difficulty and probably the easiest way to get through. Stealth is going to be harder because there's a lot of people around here, and you're not supposed to be in here. Deception would be something like you would have to like fake a maintenance uniform or something that's possible, you know. So you tell me how you want to try to make it work, and I'll set the stage for you.
Since I'm out of wrath points and my cunning and deception are quite low, I'll leave it to the sisters if you have that option.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I could
Celeste.
try the cunning, like just try and just catch someone's attention.
Mhm.
And okay,
Okay, what is your influence?
where is that?
If you tab over,
It's
I
on.
think-
Do any of us have higher than 1? It's on the gear tab.
Yeah.
Oh,
0.
I have
for
I have
Celeste.
0. Yeah.
I've got 1.
I don't know if that's
somehow.
right.
No,
could
it
be.
probably is right. You guys are pretty low level at the moment. Your influence is likely going to go up. No, actually, all of your influence went up after the first mission. After
I
you
thought
successfully,
we got an increase
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, all of your influence is now 1, and if it was 1 already, it's 2 now.
Yeah, I remember adding it. So I think it may have just been where some folks maybe didn't know where it was on the sheet
Okay, yep.
to add it on.
So you could definitely. So what it would look like for a cunning check with your influences, you would basically be finding a maintenance guy who is going to let you guys through the maintenance corridors back to the data trunk. Now, how it would work is you roll your cunning check, you get a bonus dice for your influence, and the difficulty is 3. Now, you could spend a point of wealth or more to reduce the difficulty. In other words, bribe him. And it doesn't have to just be from you. It could be from your entire pool of wealth of all of you. Or you could give him some piece of gear or something to get the difficulty down even further.
I don't think anyone has wealth.
Yeah, I think we're broke
Okay.
bitches.
You
I
won't
agree.
be after this mission, but okay. You can also give him, piece of gear, or you can just go flat. I mean, it's a difficulty 3. You get a 1 bonus dice for your influence. So
I'll try it
It's up
because
to
I do still have wrath.
Would he like
And
a
then-
melted plasma gun?
you mean that lump of, it's still probably on the Arvis lighter, burning through the bottom plate.
Hey, do you want some of this burning metal? I got 1.
So we'll see if you succeed, and then we'll play it out. Ooh, wrath complication, but 3
Ooh.
successes. So
Success.
You succeeded. You succeeded. Okay, you succeeded. I know what the complication is going to be.
Oh God. Okay.
So you find this guy, this kind of shifty looking guy. He's a ratling. And he's wearing maintenance coveralls, and he just comes out of this basically this small maintenance hatch. So you can tell there's obviously some sort of maintenance conduit that he's just crawling out of. He gets up, wipes his coveralls off, and he looks up at you. Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes, actually. I was and she says something that makes sense of why I should get access back there. She
Yeah.
presents some sort of credential.
Oh, sure. Hey, they don't pay me enough to look either way here. So, absolutely, right through there. That's. I mean, it's a little tight fit for you biggins, but hey, knock yourself out. I'm going on break anyway. And he leaves the hatch open and turns and walks away.
Okay.
Stand guard. If you
Yeah,
see
I don't think
her,
you have much time.
I do not need it. And he will crawl into the hatch and see if he can find access to the trunk.
Okay, you're able to easily find the data trunk and hack into it. It's a difficulty 5 tech test, which probably is not too difficult for you.
And if I have Haster Cravo with me, can he assist on this?
He absolutely can, yes.
All right, difficulty 5. All right.
Difficulty 5.
Okay. There we go. That is Oh my god, 7 failures and a wrath critical.
Complication.
Yeah. Or wrath complication, excuse me. That's what I meant to say.
Good gracious.
Okay.
But you have
Can I
wrath,
still-
right?
I can still reroll the wrath stuff, so I'll do that. 5 successes, but still have that complication. You want me to roll it?
No, I know what the complication
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
So you're able, you start to get into the trunk and you feel the demons, these semi-sentient programs that are security, basically the white blood cells of the system. They are immediately following back towards you. However, you're able to pull the information before they get a lock on you specifically. But you believe some other sort of alert has gone out in the system. You're able to pull out, and you find that you did confirm that yesterday a group of the hardwares did take the elevator up with the tech adept who was managing the stasis coffin and the stasis coffin. All of it went up yesterday. The reservation for tomorrow is for another group of individuals, you assume hardware gang members, and a Skitari rust stalker.
Okay. He will then clamber on out. He will say to Sister Celeste, "We have a problem. Let us discuss it with the rest of the team. Our presumptions have potentially been incorrect. We are further behind in the investigation than we have realized."
Oh, shit. All right. Should we leave here then?
Yes, there has been an alert that I seem to have triggered inadvertently. It is quite likely that my access to this information has been logged and monitored. We should move quickly.
Yeah, okay. And we're gonna hustle out of here.
All right, so you guys leave the terminal, and as you're leaving the terminal, you look over to the side, Sister Celeste, and you see that Ratling. He's looking up in the rain, chatting with somebody under this Kim umbrella. But the size and shape of the individual he's talking to, even from a distance, is pretty familiar. And you have a
Loxam?
feeling it's Loxam. But you're able to move out of the terminal and into the rainstorm, into the early evening. Where would you like to go?
So we also know of one other location of where the hardware people have been hired by other people. That is something we could check out if you guys wanted.
So we could, but the stasis coffin isn't even on planet anymore.
Yeah, it's already up there. But we could kill the people who are supposed to be on the next shuttle up
and
take their spot.
I mean, we could certainly do that. We might want to just dot our I's and cross our T's, see if there's a perhaps less risky way of getting access to the elevator first.
What about Sugar Daddy
exhaust that opportunity? I mean, Byrrc wants to kill people, but Jeff is like, I don't want.
We're already being investigated. Yeah. That's true.
So given that none of us have wealth, I'm assuming we can't buy tickets on tomorrow's elevator.
You might be able to, but it's you might be able to get access to wealth if you need it.
We also have someone who could get into the mind of someone, and perhaps they could get the actually, I don't know. Does a person actually sell it, or is this just something we go in and buy through Amazon?
It's right through Amazon. No, there is a tech adept, a tech priest that is responsible for booking all cargo and personnel on the space elevators. You've used them before. They're a very irritating Lex mechanic. Their crimson robes are torn into tape strips, and are very aggressive about the timetable. So, you often have to book well in advance, and they are intractable about the schedule. But you've heard rumors, because you've done this, you've gone up and down many times, that that they can be bribed, they can be manipulated into shifting things around a little bit if there's an emergency.
Okay. Okay. So we could try to do that.
Yeah.
That's an option.
You also know that, you also know that with the port being as big as it is, you could potentially stow away, but there's high risk if you get caught. So
I think it's a good idea to try the low risk stuff first, and then
the Domina could probably honestly get us on there.
Probably not the Domina, because she probably wants to keep detached. We could try like High Lumen Osifa, see if we could get a favor from her or something, maybe. But she's less invested in this.
I would rather try her first. Yeah.
Yeah, we could say like there's more heretics to snuff out that her priest didn't catch them all, and Birk wants to rectify that. Maybe we take that angle.
Yeah. And there's also always Captain Axiarch Thracia from the Fortress of Canadar, who actually told you she would pay you to bring the status coffin to her.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Though I mean,
not that you would actually have to.
And Jeff would be sus of would super sus of somebody who's doing that. But I think Birk obviously would default to High Osifa to try to go that route, but that doesn't mean the group has to. So
alternatively, we could try and get an advance or some money from who originally gave us the mission.
Inquisitor Rathborn.
Rathborn.
Yeah. Okay.
Any of those options sound wonderful to me. You could try them all, pick one, whatever makes you happy.
Do you want to do Osifa?
It's up to you guys. Birk's a freaking grenade. He doesn't do a lot of thinking. So if you want, he will. He'll reach out if that's the idea.
Osifa's aligned with the Mechanicum.
Excuse me, High Luminen Osifa to you heretical douchewad. She's an electro priest. Pretty bad. She got a badass electro leech staff. Life goals for Talov.
All right, let's do that.
Make a choice,
I heard that as wife goals, and I was like, also fair.
Also fair.
I had all sorts of jokes ready for talking to the investigator. Be like, this is my wife, Janet. This is also my wife, Chrissy. We are deeply bonded in love. I was ready to go, but it never presented itself, so I didn't.
This is my wife, Janet, and this is my wife, Janet's wife, Chrissy. We are all very in love.
We are polyamorous.
It would have been great if Aaron came in like, what's going on here? It's actually a Three's company.
We had a lot of jokes like that last week. Last time it was fun. Okay, so if we're talking about this, so first of all, I would say Celeste and Talov will seek out the rest of the group and we'll get them up to speed at the very least. At the stasis coffin is already off planet, as is the tech adept, as are a group of hardwares, and then we'll debrief on the fact that the one tomorrow is additional hardwares, including a Rust Stalker, which I think Han and Vintael know. So, and then he'll present his idea.
There goes my idea, because I was going to try to figure out where would you store something if you had to store it until tomorrow, but looks like the storing already happened and it's already gone. So I like that idea. I think we find somebody to buy us some tickets.
So presuming we found some lodgings, and that's maybe where we're having this discussion at.
Yeah, we'll just stay away from that. That's simple. There's plenty of small coffin, hotels and things. You've got a very small room with stacked bunks for passengers waiting for the space elevator.
So
small sitting area.
Celeste will start to offer healing to V and Han and see where we're at from there.
Okay. So what is your total Medicaid dice pool?
My base is 3, but total 7.
Okay, so you're able to recover 7 wounds. V spends about an hour. So Sister Celeste works on you for about an hour, and then she can work on Wigbert. You also would get 7 wounds back over. So it's basically 2 to 3 hours while you're providing medical support to the two of them. So who do you want to contact to see about getting some credits?
There's multiple of us, so you guys can do what you want. I think Birk will I think it just makes sense. Birk will reach out to High Luminen and see if he could speak with her.
It takes a while for you to get through, but then her voice comes across the Voxcaster. Brother Talith, I hope you are well, and that the motive force is granting you the energy to succeed in your endeavors.
You honor me, High Luminen. I call with urgent news and request that heretics of the highest order have escaped off planet. And in order to conclude the task with which some in your charge have already begun, I must, with my assistance, follow them up the space elevator. However, as you know, the tech adepts have a very rigorous schedule. Is there perhaps a possibility that you might lend your influence to get us passage on the space elevator outside of normal procedures? As I said, this is a matter of most urgency, and I merely am aiming to continue the crusade with which you have already begun.
So, Brother Talith, my understanding is that you wish to pursue the tech gang off planet after the stasis coffin that they have stolen. Is this what you are referring to, brother?
So, High Luminen was if I recall, she was pretty cagey, right? Or am I getting that? Yeah, she was pretty cagey.
She was cagey, but she also didn't care as long as it was no longer drawing power from the planet.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Berg's not savvy. I'm not going to play him as suddenly savvy, and he's just going to say, that is correct. The tumor's growth that you have excised from within your city has moved, and it threatens the orbital stations above, and I must beseech you that I am a child of such stations, and it behooves me not of my duty, but of a personal desire to ensure that what might have befallen your land does not befall those in orbit above the Forge world of Avacaris.
Brother Talith, may the motive force grant you success in your endeavors. However, my concerns are for Avacaris, and unless the stasis coffin is plugged into one of the orbitals and begins to draw power from it, it does not concern the motive force, at least as it is embodied through my beliefs. I am sorry, but I can provide you no further assistance.
I understand. I thank you for your time, and I apologize for wasting it.
It is no waste to speak with you, brother. You are always welcomed here.
And he will offer a prayer of some kind. He will close down the Vox call. He will turn to everybody else and be like, that's a no-go.
All right. And who's
fortunate? Going to Wrathborn then?
I think that's next.
Who's making the call?
Wrathborn it is.
I
Sure, why not? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do the call.
Is your hand feeling well enough that you can
I can dial. All right, so it can
That's
work.
It's a bit
excellent.
flaw.
I can even dial for you.
It's
if
like
that's necessary.
new. So yeah, ring ring.
V, what is it you need now?
So complication that we got to kind of deal with, and it needs a little bit of assistance. I was wondering if we could possibly get an advance on some payment, maybe a little bit of money to help us acquire a seat on this elevator, because the transport you were trying to get us to get a hold of has moved off world, and in order for us to get there in time, is we're going to have to get an access to this elevator, and unfortunately we don't have the money to do so, but it would really grease some palms if we could get a little bit of
V, you talk too much.
All right.
Inquisition's got deep pockets. All right. I will send down, I will wire enough funds for you to buy tickets for you and your team on the space elevator tomorrow. Same departure time as you provided for the hardware gang that you're following. You'll still have to book the passage. The wealth will be in your account.
Appreciate it. Good looking out.
He's already disconnected.
It was good talking to you too.
It's like in
Good
TV,
news, guys.
no one ever says goodbye. They just end the call when they're done with
That's the
it.
idea. Like, I keep on trying to make friends, and it's just like, okay, well. All right, so I informed the group of the situation that's at hand. We're gonna have to still book. Sorry, we're gonna have to still book our flight, I guess, but we're gonna have to get to that now in order to get off planet the way we're supposed to. So, inform everybody, and now what's the plan?
So now we have to purchase the tickets, but we at least have the money to do so.
Yes.
Okay.
Who would like to talk to the guys that don't want to talk to people?
Byrrc will do it.
So,
It's just tech adepts. That's all it is. It's just tech people.
so do you rest here for until the morning and then go back there, or do you go back right now?
It seems the sooner the better. If they like their timetables taken care of, then it seems like getting the ticket the day before is something to make them a little less annoyed than waiting till the day of.
I mean, there's no guarantee that they're even going to get us on tickets.
Yeah. Yep.
With an expedient
This
time.
is true. This is true. So you head back over to the terminal. The rain has started to slack off, and there's just sort of a deep fog throughout the port. But the main terminal is always open. So the doors slide open. You walk in, and you find yourself towards the back of this line that snakes up to the desk where this Lex mechanic is holding court. They've got mechadendrites are going out across their shoulders. They're typing. They've got like 6 eyes, and they're looking in different directions. And you see at that point, you get that flash across the security banner. 4-hour wait at this point as you stand in line. Unless you want to do something else.
So, question. Are there other ways off planet besides the space elevator? Like, we have thus far been very focused on the space elevator, but at the same time, one of the reasons we were is because we thought they might be going tomorrow. But since we know they're already up there, like, is there a more expedient way? Like, we could potentially get up to
I mean, you could get a shuttle, take a shuttle up to the orbital.
We have the funds. Could we try to perhaps just hire
fucking go now? Yeah.
You absolutely
I like
can.
it.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Guys, I'll hold our spot in line. You go see if we can get a shuttle. Just please call me if you acquire one. Please. Somebody.
It's like, we're going to go get food. You stay here in line.
Yeah. I'll wait. I'll hold their spot.
So
you all see that they're with me. So when they come back, it's not
right here in the line, right here with me.
As V is being so loud, Celeste is scanning again for Lux.
I'm assuming he's there all the
I'm
time.
assuming he's
All
also
the time.
there, and he just looks at me like, really? This is who you're working with?
Go ahead and give me that awareness check.
Oh, God.
You did
I love
good
that I've
the
gotten
first time.
horribly marred. My body is a shell of what it once was, and nobody
wrath
likes me at all.
complication. You got 8.
Complication.
So
though.
you
8
scan.
successes.
You scan around. You do not see Loxon or any of the personnel that were with him that I can identify, but you do see that rattling maintenance guy watching you. And then he drops to all fours and scurries through a maintenance duct, but not before you see him pull out a Voxcaster and start to chatter into it, and then he disappears into the maintenance ducts of the terminal building.
Okay.
So what would you guys like to do?
So someone were watching us here, and they think that we're in line to get tickets. Then we may want to try to be stealthy, or deception, or disguised, or some other thing. If we're then going to go get a shuttle, so trying to make it look like we're still doing the ticket thing.
You could do a stealth check, a group stealth check, whoever's got the best stealth if you want, and it would be against anybody's awareness check. And that stealth would just tick away as you do things that draw attention to yourself. But if that's what you'd like to do.
Okay. I've got 4 in stealth, so not awful. I can give it a roll. I'm going to give it a roll because I've got 2 wraths, so.
I like it.
That is son of a biscuit.
1 with a wrath complication. Okay.
I can re-roll though.
You can re-roll, spend a wrath point and re-roll, but you can't re-roll the complication.
Understood.
I was the loud one, and this is what we get.
Don't forget, you can also spend glory because you're spending a wrath.
Yep, to add dice. If you want.
Would that be useful so that I could try to?
The higher
I'll
your
do
stealth
that.
score is.
The better.
I don't think I can do anything with that, so I'm just going to roll an extra.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, so you got 3 successes. You think you're being very quiet as you move away. You don't know what the complication is, but you're moving out of the crowd. Stealthily, quietly, you've got your chem umbrellas up, even though it's no longer raining out there, and you slide out and you head out to the spaceport. It takes about an hour to get there, and you're able to easily contract a shuttle to take you up to the orbital. And that the ride up, powering up, and the ride up will take about 3 hours in total because you've got to kind of match the orbit of the planets you're circling around as you go into dock. And so you dock with the orbital, and you are on the orbital station. What's
Right.
up to do?
Can we try
Possibly access some logs, see if maybe
So
when people got off.
The vast majority of Delta Signovum is manufactorum. I mean, they're manufacturing armor for void ships and other heavy metal pieces for void ships. So most of this is an industrial area. There's a few, like in the lower levels of the station, that's where you find all the crew quarters, you find some of the bars. That's the basic layout. So where would you like to go to try to find information?
Did the first stop when you get on station? Maybe there's a bar nearby.
Yeah, we'll say there is. There's a small transit bar that's near there for the people, mainly for shuttle crews. You know, if they've got a short layover, and when you go in, that's what you primarily see. You see pilots and shuttle crews getting a drink, having a meal. They all look up as you come in, but then turn back to their food or drink, not really paying you that much attention. There's so many people transit in and out of Delta Signovum that they don't even flinch at it anymore.
And I'll linger around, try and listen to some conversations, ask around. Maybe people seeing some sort of activity related to hardwares.
Okay. Give me a cunning check, difficulty 3.
With my 1 cunning, this should be doable.
Should be interesting.
We do not have a particularly cunning party, do we? Like, that is not a stat that we.
1 success.
You got 1 success. So what I'll tell you is
you could.
You did what you could. You ask around, you're talking to people, they're looking at you, they're like, I haven't seen any tech gangers up here at all. They wouldn't come up to the station. These are hard hat people up here. I mean, I don't, unless they're going somewhere else. Are you sure you got the right station, kid? It's an old timer talking to you. And that's basically what you get from most of these people is you spend some time talking to everybody and they just look at you like they clearly think you're in the wrong place, maybe the wrong station altogether.
Well, we could try to continue backtracking the people from yesterday, or we can try to plan a ambush for tomorrow's trip up here, because the people coming up tomorrow will likely lead us to the people that got here yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we do a sit and wait, follow sort of mission.
I mean, you could do a you could go to the area where the cargo, this block size cargo container is going to come up and dock with the station and do sort of a, scout it out if you want to try to set up some kind of ambush or some kind of tail from here. That would be if you're just trying to scout the area out, that would be an awareness test. If you're looking for like specific ways that you might be able to, shut down station systems so you can grab them or something like that, that would probably either be an investigation check or a tech check. You could do a survival check to figure out the best place to ambush them on the station. Whatever you want, or all of it.
Yeah, I would say, maybe we'll all kind of do different things. I'm probably best at survival of those things.
Okay.
Sister Nerd's good at shooting stuff. All the rest of it is a little iffy. Okay. So we'll try survival.
That's all of these are just a flat difficulty 3, and more successes you get provides you more information.
Okay. Wow, I'm just I just keep rolling ones in complication. So I'm going to spend my second wrath of the night and see if I can do better. But all right, I got my 3 successes and my wrath complication.
So you're able to find a couple of choke points after the cargo. You see where the cargo would get offloaded, and then you see where personnel would come out. And there's a couple of choke points that you feel like you could set up like a blind and be able to grab people unaware. But while you're checking this out, you realize that a couple of the Skitarii security force folks have recognized that you're doing something odd. They didn't come up, they didn't approach you, but they recognized that something weird is going on. And they kind of keep tracking you throughout the station after that. V, 5 successes and a wrath critical on your investigation check. So you're able to find areas at where the departure section is, where you think it's possible that Brother Talib would be able to hack into the security system and flag the hardwares as they come out and pull them out into a security room that you think you could probably also isolate from the main security forces of the station. Last awareness. So you're doing a general awareness of the area. You see an elevator come up while you're scouting it out, and you realize that it's utter chaos. And as they're offloading all of the equipment and all of the raw materials, 90% of the effort is in controlling the materials because that's where the money is. So almost all of the security forces are focused on that. And there's only a handful of security. You wouldn't even really call them security. They're more like gate guards that are just kind of pointing for people to go that way, and mainly to keep them away from the cargo. So they either don't get themselves hurt or interfere with the workers. So you think that as people leave the space elevator, it would be really easy to separate some of them if you had the right circumstances without anybody being aware of it.
Good to know. Good to know. Sounds like we need someone stealthy to steal some uniforms.
Does Jeff still have to perform his tech check, or is it assumed through my?
He would have to perform at that time. When they arrive, he would have to.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah. This is all still prep, so I think my thing is like when it's happening.
If only there was someone sneaky.
Yeah, my prep then would be to acquire whatever uniform helps.
All right, give me a stealth check to pull out some gate to find some gate guard uniforms.
Wakebird and his 8 stealth. Nice.
Something I can do. I got a 4.
4 successes. That's enough. So you go through, you track back where these gate guards go. You find their locker room, and you're able, out of the laundry hamper, you find 5 uniforms that roughly are going to fit you guys. Out of armor, though. But they're not too nasty. But you're able to bring them out. You don't necessarily all need to be in maintenance garb either. But you have enough uniforms for everybody. So you set up your blinds. You've got the security room. Brother Talov can hack into the system and isolate the hardwares. Who is actually in the gate guard uniforms?
I think Sister Nura is definitely going to have to change because she got spotted the day before. So, because I think she's got like pink dyed hair at the moment. So she's going to have to redo that and then be in a uniform.
So you rinse that out. You're in a uniform. Anybody else? As well. Okay, so Wigbert's in a maintenance uniform.
I'll do it as well because I don't really have a ton of armor anyways.
It would be hard for Brother Talov to look like anything other than he is because he has no eyes.
I refuse to cover this.
I also like the idea of like I'm missing an eye. I'm missing like hello, fellow security guards.
So you're all set, and the space elevator that you're waiting for is coming up to dock. It's like 5 minutes out. The alarms go off throughout the entire station, and a platoon of Skitarii Rangers fall on this pod as it opens to a bloody massacre in there. And they immediately engage the 2 surviving members of the Hardwares who, from what you can tell, got nervous on the way up because their contact never made it and opened fire in there. And you see the last 2 Hardwares get gunned down by the Skitarii. There's no one left alive inside this container. It looks like if there had been some competent people on board, they might have prevented the massacre. But everyone, civilians and hardware alike, are dead. That is where we're going to leave it for tonight, as our team of troubleshooters are on Delta Signovum station without a lead. We'll pick it up in 2 weeks. And we will see what they do with their situation.
Job well done.
Oh my god!
And I'm just gonna tell everybody out there, that's pretty much written in the adventure like that. If you don't get on the space elevator, they kill everybody and they die.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
it was a good
idea.
It was a good idea.
They took care of each other. They're dead.
I was willing to sit in line, guys. All right.
We took you with us? I thought you were still in line.
Does the adventure ever give anything to give an indication that is a possible outcome?
really. No.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's not 100% true. If you actually go to the underground bar where the criminal element hangs out and you talk to the bartender, they tell you that with all the off-the-shelf augments that the hardwares use, that they're a little schizo and they're prone to incredibly violent outbreaks and a bit paranoid, and that they're a real low-rent gang. So if they're involved in something big, they're probably super nervous about it. So you kind of could get a little bit more background from on them at that point, which might have made you change how you wanted to approach it. But
I mean,
hey,
4-hour lines.
I will tell you this:
4-hour lines.
I know, I wouldn't have stood in that line either. And there are ways to recover from this. It's not like I'm like, okay, you guys are fucked. Let's go.
Yeah.
Next session, let's go have some margaritas and shoot the shit.
Well, all right. Next, let's see what we got going on. Let's do some closing plugs. Why don't we start with you, Aaron? Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Garblag.
All right, next week, Tuesday is to be determined at this point, but on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you could find me in the narrator's seat as we are finally back to the Marvel Multiverse Cataclysm of Kang, New York State of a Mind, Rank 3 adventure. So that should be a lot of fun. And then on Thursday, Prime Garblag Pete himself is walking away from the seat, and Ben is going to jump in and start episode 1 of season 3 of our Dune show, continuing the adventures of House Dargouche. So definitely check that out if you get an opportunity to. And that's all I got.
Fantastic. As for us, tomorrow, next game, Call of Cthulhu, Eternal Lies, continuing that. I think everyone's going to do some drugs. I think that was the plan. And then I think that was the plan. I think that was basically it. So we're going to see what happens.
We have to investigate and know what's going on.
Yeah. Man, there's so many jokes I want to make right now, but I'm not going to.
What happens in
Monday-
a drug den stays in a drug den, Jeff?
Nope, not in this game. Monday, Fragged Empire. Back to our silly space shenanigans. Tuesday, you can see a few of us, Aaron, Melissa, myself, as we are playing Cloud Empress. Steven's given us a little taste of it, so we should be finishing up our one shot of it. We played first session last Tuesday. Second session is going to be this next week. And then Thursday, brand new game, Symbaroom. We just started last night, and we're having a lot of fun with that. And so we'll be back for session 2 next week. If you haven't already checked out the YouTube page, go ahead and do so. Adventures in Lollygagging. We've got all sorts of games up there, including another new game that we just started earlier this week that does more weird space stuff, and it's called Alien. Perhaps you have heard of it. So we're doing that as well. So all sorts of things. Hopefully there's a handful of games that sound of interest to you. Other than that, we're going to go ahead. We're going to raid Defenders. Our buddy Joe is making a game. It's called Anivia. He's running it. Let's go support that. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow for some Call of Cthulhu. Bye.
See ya.
Good night.
Bye.